Taking a cue from my pastor, who always starts preaching by summarizing his conclusion. The fear is that in the course of his preaching, some of you may be going to sleep. So he tells you exactly what he's going to conclude with. So those who are interested in sleeping when pastors are preaching could go to sleep. I thought that was not a bad strategy, to tell the people that at the end of your presentation, you would want to let people understand that Ghana will, strengthen its transparency and accountability to ensure that there is good governance in the mining industry. The second conclusion that I'll be drawing is that we will implement strategies through the African Mining Vision, and I'll be talking about that briefly, and our own national mining vision to ensure that the sector benefits all the stakeholders. We will also deepen our management of our social and environmental impact of mining in the country. So these are the three things that my presentation will be addressing at the end of the day. So I know that in such professional forums like this, people don't go to sleep, but I was only trying to copy my pastor. My challenge this morning is to discuss with you mining policy dynamics towards an effective and efficient management of Ghana's mineral resources. Now, I will be doing this through the following guides. First, I will look at the key policies, starting with an overview of pre-independence, post-independence mining policies of the country. We will look at how these policies have impacted on investment in our country. And then we look at the current challenges of the mining sector, what novel provisions we have provided in the last few years, and then the conclusions that I have already given. Now, I've already indicated that Ghana continues to be a key player in terms of mining, and that if you look at the African mineral resource wealth, if they properly managed, the likelihood of they benefiting and lifting our people from poverty to wealth is, undoubtable. If you look at the report from the World Bank and other, financial organizations, African Development Bank and all that, even though the continent hosts over 30% of the world's mineral reserves, the benefits that gets to the citizens of the continent do not measure with its contribution. And I'm sure in the last decade you have seen Africans or the African political leadership coming together to question why, after hosting all these resources, we are not getting what is expected of us. And again, after all the noise about growth in Africa, economic challenges, development challenges, poverty challenges still hold sway in the country, in the continent. Now, in Ghana, we have various mineral resources. I think we have spent a lot of time for centuries on 4 of them. The gold, diamond, bauxite, and manganese. These are the minerals that the continent has spent so much, the country has spent so much time on and exploited at commercial level. This does not mean that these are the minerals that we have. I am sure you are aware that not long ago, the country was subjected to a massive airborne geophysical survey, which also revealed the occurrences of several other minerals, about 28 of them. These are all opportunities for us to pursue. Now, we know that minerals are adjustable resources. This is a common statement that we all know. So, in trying to exploit the minerals, we must have appropriate policies that ensure that after digging the minerals from the belly of the earth, they become beneficial to the citizens. Now, let's look at some of the policies in the mining industry before independence. And you can only summarize that policy to mean trying to support actually external demands. They were trying to, in fact, the policies that were implemented prior to independence was largely to support colonial interests. For instance, if you look at manganese, the reason why manganese was exploited in Ghana at the time it did, it was largely to meet the World War demand for manganese. It was not necessarily to support the economy of Ghana. Obviously, there was a natural tendency that once you're exporting that, you're going to have some benefit in terms of employment. And needless to say that the gold industry in particular has been vibrant long ago. The figures that we see, some people question that because they think it's too much. But if you look at the period from 1493 to the 1600s, that Ghana alone, the current region, produced in excess of 8 million ounces of gold, then it sort of underscores the importance of gold in the economy of Ghana. Now, minerals output dwindled subsequently due to variations associated with global supply and demand and the influence of the two world wars. So even around that time, we had a decline in the supply of gold. Now, let's look at policies that were put in place even after independence, immediately after independence, and then up to 1983. I would say that the policies were not so much focused on development. The policies were largely focused on raising revenues and creating employment. That's it. The mining was not seen as a tool, as a catalyst for development. There was no developmental mining. There was more, can we generate revenue? Can we get some people employed? And that was largely what we think. But we also saw just after independence that the state thought that it must have a place under the sun in terms of controlling the industry. You would recall that in the period of colonialism, most of the mining companies were private entities, so to speak, but with links to the central, the government in the UK and elsewhere. But with the advent of independence, the thinking was let's control our own mineral resources, and therefore we moved from situations where the exploitation was largely private to largely state-owned. Now the result, I don't know whether it was because of the ownership or for various reasons, was that for a very long time we were not attracting new investments. I think the 60s and 1983 were not attracting new investments. And interestingly, whereas several mines were operated prior to 1945, it's interesting to note that by 1945, since that time, no new mine was opened. So you can calculate for over close to 40 years, there was no new mine that was opened in Ghana. We also saw, and I'll show you in the slides, the reduction in production. significant reduction in the production. All the equipment, the operations were becoming dilapidated, and Ghana's position as a key producer of mineral resources was going down. Now, the global market conditions and investor uncertainty about the safety of their investment on the Ghanaian self-rule also played a key role. After all, after independence and the euphoria around it, we heard about nationalization, and that was a common thing in the African region, particularly Zambia. Ghana also had its own fair share. I think that was the vogue in time, so investors were a little bit apprehensive of bringing their investment here. Now, this combined with the malaise in the economy created a situation where Ghana was within the trough, that the only place it had to go was to bounce back. And therefore, the government of the day came up with the Economic Recovery Program, that is commonly known as the Structural Adjustment Program. Now, the program basically was a reform package designed to realign relative prices, to improve the financial position of the public sector, to encourage investment in various sectors, and then, you know, the key area where the focus was made. In fact, the productive focus was actually at the mining sector, the gold, the cocoa sector, and the timber sector. Obviously, if you wanted the economy to recover quickly, you need to go to areas where you can easily pick and sell. So I think the government of the day actually focused on the mining sector as a key area. And so basically, was policy objective for the mining sector in the short term was to halt the decline in production by assisting existing mines to obtain funding for rehabilitation. So first they were to obtain funding for rehabilitation and also upgrade the infrastructure on the state gold mining companies that were around, the Accra gold fields, the Christia gold mines, and all that were around. Now, in the long term, they were to institute economic and legal measures to attract investment into exploration. That was the long-term goal of it. And then also set up new mining ventures, encourage expansion in existing ones, and then sort of privatize the existing state gold mines. These were the long-term objective of the policies. Now, to achieve the long-term objective of attracting new investment in the mining industry, the Minerals and Mining Law was passed. The PNDC Law 153 was passed in 1986, and I think this was a game-changing policy, it was a game-changing law, which actually became the source of reference by other countries that wanted to also reform its mining, well, its economy in general, and its mining in particular. The regulatory institutions responsible for development of the sector were also strengthened, and that is how come the Minerals Commission was set up as an independent commission to sort of look at the promoting investment in the mining sector, also regulating the mining sector, and effectively being a one-stop shop. I have always questioned that whether we in the Minerals Commission have lived up to our one-stop shop expectation, because one-stop shop expectation means that if someone comes to the Minerals Commission, you should go back home feeling that everything has been solved. So that is a one-stop shop. And I will be the first to, because I don't want anyone to raise that question, so let me answer it before, that I don't think up to now we have gotten to the one-stop shop, and I think we are maybe 2 or 3 stop shops to go. But that is what we strive to achieve. Now, the Minerals and Mining Law, PNDC Law 153, after 10 years, after 20 years, sorry, had to be reviewed and look at the current trend and adapt it. So in 2006, a revised law was also promulgated. Now let's look at the impact of the policies, particularly the post-1980 policies and its impact on the various indicators. If you look at production of the various minerals prior to 1983, I think the graph speaks for itself. You could look at the production that went up in the 60s of gold, I'm talking about, sorry, diamond. That came down as low as about 500 carats, up from close to 3,000. So the same thing could be said of the gold sector, which also went, and at the time of the structural adjustment program, I think gold production was less than 500,000 ounces per annum, as low as that. Now, in terms of the post-policy impact, about $50 billion have since been invested in the mining sector. So if you look at the period of the structural adjustment program, and now over $15 billion have been invested. You will recall that prior to that, Ghana's investment indicators was actually really negative. I think, if I recall correctly, it was about -16% in terms of investment in this country. GDP growth was -3% and all that. Now we're seeing a significant leap in investment in that sector. And then you would also agree that we have various foreign and local companies also owning concessions or holding on to concessions. But the one misperception that I want to erase is that most of us as Ghanaians, we think that most of our concessions are held by foreigners. That is a general perception, because I've heard statements like, you know, all the big companies are holding all their concessions and we don't have any concessions. It is true the big companies hold concessions, but the big companies control only 28% of the concessions in Ghana. The rest are held by Ghanaians. And if you ask some of the big companies, they will tell you that they bought their concessions from Ghanaians, or they bought part of their concessions from Ghanaian holders. So it is not factually correct to say that all our concessions have been mortgaged to foreigners. Many of the companies holding exploration licenses are focused on gold, and I think that's both positive and negative. We are happy because we were once gold hosts, and I think Ghana has been blessed with gold almost everywhere. We are happy to see a lot of investments in that area. However, we are not too happy that people have just focused on gold. What this means is that it increases our vulnerability. And I'll be showing you some figures. When gold price was nice and sexy, our balance sheet was nice and sexy. Now the gold price goes down and our balance sheet has become bad and ugly. So if we had other minerals that we could look up to, then we would not have to sort of be vulnerable as we are now. So we will encourage investors to look at other opportunities. Ghana has a lot of clay deposit all over the place. And if you look at construction industry that is going on globally, I will repeat that. That you must invest in other places along with your gold investment, other places, including solar salts. Because the guy said he didn't hear what I said, that's why I said I was going to repeat that. Solar salts, there are occurrences of lead, copper. That one needs some more work to be done. But there are other areas that obviously the amount of time and energy and resources that will be spent on that may not be done. So I think we encourage you. Currently we have 13 mines and they are in active production. 13 mines in active production. In terms of revenue, as I indicated, last year government got 16% of its revenue from the mining sector. This figure stands long the way from the figures of 3-4 years ago, when gold price was very beautiful, and that is where I spoke about my nice and sexy concept. I will show you the figures, and obviously you can also see that by 2014, we were in the 18s, 2013, we were around the same figures. So seriously, we believe that diversification will help. However, we still believe that the industry provides significant source of revenue for the state. Now, in terms of export earning, the mining industry, I shouldn't be talking about gold, because some of the gold. Obviously, gold is over 90% of the value. In terms of mechanized export value, an average of 40% of Ghana's value has come from the mining sector. And it has been consistent since 2000. And I think there was a bit of a blip in 2004, so when cocoa overtook us briefly. But the mining and the solid mineral sector has continued to lead in terms of mechanized export earning. In terms of employment, the figures are always estimated figures. We estimate about 25,000, and with some level of certainty, 25,000 for large-scale mining. And here we have also included the contractors and all that. And then in excess of 1 million people also working in the small scale and the unregularized sector of the small scale mining. A friend of mine thinks that we should scrap it, but I'll have a debate with him later on in his house. He said we should scrap small scale mining completely, but I'll have a debate in his house to understand why he thinks so. So there's a graphic presentation of production of various minerals, gold, and the trend. Those have been very good, but almost all the minerals have seen some beautiful trends since the implementation of the structural adjustment program or the reforms in the mining sector. In terms of our mechanized export earnings, the graph is quite clear. The graph on top is the mining sector, and it's still leading. Even though we started producing oil, and people think that oil is now the one that is running our economy, the fact of the matter is that that is not correct. And we are praying for them to actually overtake us, so Ghana will get more money. But in terms of the fact on the ground, the mining sector continues to lead in terms of revenue and in terms of foreign exchange. These are all figures that are of interest to all of us. But again, to clarify one point, and I've been on the other side before, I keep saying that one of the criticisms against the mining industry was that you kept only 5% of whatever you received outside the country. That is the figure that I kept hearing whilst I was on the other side. And sometimes I questioned where that 5% came from, but it seemed to be resonating all the time. Now, the fact of the matter is that mining companies return on the average about 60% of their earnings back into the country. They keep about an average of 60% of their earnings back in the country. Now, the reason this is very important is that in the law, mining companies are supposed to return not less than, I think, 25% of that in the country. So if they return 25%, then by law, one would say that, yeah, that's a number to return. But they go beyond that and then return. In fact, some of them return between 100%. Occasionally, they return 100% of their receipts, and occasionally less, for various reasons. Now, the reason why the law was not made for them to return 100% was that at the time the law was being made, I think the only institution that dealt in foreign exchange was the Bank of Ghana and a couple of commercial banks. Now there's a proliferation of banks with external connections. So some mining companies, I believe, see no reason why they should keep their monies outside, so that if they needed any spare parts. And of course, you need to purchase spare parts and other things from outside Ghana. But we don't use most of the things that we use in producing our minerals. So that's the basis. These are the figures for for receipts and well receipts. Generally, we have some challenges. The lack of data is hurting everybody, and we need to perfect our reserves and resources so that we can parcel them out easily for maybe for tendering. We need to also balance the provision of attractive investment environment with securing adequate benefit for the coast. The argument of competition to the bottom or whatever they say, we have to be careful that much as we want to attract investment, good investment, we need to ensure that the investment also benefits the people who host it down. We need to have adequate capacity to monitor fiscal payment globally. Particularly in Africa, we think that we do not have the capacity to monitor fiscal payment to government. And then there's this allegation of illicit flows, transfer pricing, and all of that. These are things that even at the level of the AU, the people have raised issues about. I also recall His Excellency Mr. Kofi Annan at a point in time also raising that. So these are challenges that we need to address. We need to also try and create linkages between mining and the country. I mean, I have indicated earlier on that the past policies focused on getting revenues and maybe creating employment, that they did not look at it as a basis, look at mining as a fulcrum for general development. So I think we need, as a country, to generate policies that sees mining as a catalyst for development, not just as raising revenue. Otherwise, you raise the revenue and you still do not get the development that you need. We have difficulties in planning and forecasting due to volatility. That one, we cannot blame anybody because we don't have the crystal ball all the time. We also are still facing the challenge of managing small-scale mining. Ghana was among the first countries to actually legalize small-scale mining. They passed beautiful laws, yet I always dare say that over 70% of the operators in that sector still continue to operate outside the remit of the law. So we need to find out why this is. So why, after allowing people to do it legally, they still prefer to do it illegally. We need to find out why and then try and address it. Now, by two approaches in trying to address these challenges. First is by coming up with policies, various policies. And in fact, the area of ensuring that there's transparency in the governance of the mineral sector, we are going to ensure that we go into the cadastral system, which is digitized. It will not be too long when we should be able to go onto the net and then look at concessions that are available, and then do your arrangement right from, and take the human intervention. We will do so on our own. I mean, this is a copy of the mining policy that is going to come. The product has been approved by Cabinet. The Minister will launch this at the appropriate time, because for a long time we didn't have a vision, a comprehensive vision of what we want to use our mineral resources for. So these are areas that are coming. And finally, let me just go straight to the conclusion, because these are general areas that are, very much in tune with the business of mining, policies on safety and environment and all that. But let me go straight to conclusions. I started with our conclusion, so I've seen that nobody has yet gone to sleep. So I will only rehearse my conclusions once again. We believe that for mining to continue to contribute to the economy of Ghana, we need to take a few steps. First, we need to strengthen transparency and accountability. This three pillar of good governance will be taken together and ensure that, as I indicated, we take, we do things transparently, we take a lot of human intervention and respond to your need as quickly as possible. I have told my commission that we are there to assist. We regulate to assist. We are not regulating to stop your business. Ghana has gone past the situation where you regulate to create bottlenecks, to create inertia. So day in and out, we try to see how we can improve to ensure that our clients, our customers get their responses on time. We will implement the African mining vision strategies and our own national mining strategies. We will work with other partners like the EPA, the Water Resources Commission, and other stakeholders to ensure that the social and environmental impact of mining is properly managed. And then my pet subject finally is the small-scale mining. Even though we have laws that allow for small-scale mining to be done, I think some more work needs to be done. I don't believe that the challenges of small-scale mining is intractable. I don't believe that it's insoluble. We can resolve it, and I think we will resolve those challenges with your help and the help of God. Thank you very much.